that I
Okay,
waste
that sounds pretty
$500 on. But it sounds really cool until you realize I have to pay $500 for it.
True. Just wait till you ask for the textbook cost, right? Okay, so we come out here, they come out here. We want to brawl in here because we have Doomfist Reaper, right? We want to take these closed angles, right? We don't want to play on the coast out here, right? So I like the rollout. Clones ends up pushing out a little too soon here. They wrap around and it forces out ammo from us a bit too soon. And I think the fight just kind of devolves because of the poke damage we take. So let's just watch this roll out. Like all is well as we get to here. Pause. Right, like this is good. I like what's happening here. We're playing in the right areas. The idea is that we want to poke them out. Now, ideally, we're having Doomfist come in at the same time as Reaper, right? So like we can get a little Reaper TP here and then shift out as our Doomfist punches in, like uppercuts and then jumps out maybe over there or something, right? As long as those two are taking engages at the same time, that's fine. But instead, we try to take the engagement. Now, what we've just done is narrow this down to a linear fight, right? So instead of having alternative angles, right, we've just contorted ourselves to only this angle. Like we're not even using this window. But like the idea is that we just got rid of all the opportunity to off angle. So it would be better to poke out from here and then look for engagements later, right? Or make them come to us.
Honestly, I think something else is that we just run Reaper Doom, or I mean, Kree Doom. We run Kree Doom rather than Reaper Doom because, like, with the Doom, you are supposed to be initiating in with punches, and like your sight lanes are going to get a lot more constricted when you're running the Doom because it's like hyper aggro. But if we're running Reaper and Doom, then it's so hard for us to set up like an off angle without needing to commit those resources to the Reaper that we would otherwise commit onto the Doom.
Oh yeah,
At least
Reaper can
that's what
off
I
angle.
think.
Right?
Reaper can off angle, but I don't think he can off angle as well
So the
as
point of
like
Reaper
a
in this
creep.
comp is not to play with the tanks. Reaper is supposed to go in before the engagement. Reaper and Doomfist are our poke phase, right? The way you want to think of this is you're trying to take a shot in the dark and hope that you see a potential team fight you can take, right? At this point in time, we've seen nothing except we've seen their Ryan, so we decided to push onto him. What we should be doing is have Reaper TP behind, poke at the BAP, maybe he uses shift, hopefully he uses immo. After a resource is drained, he wraiths out, comes back to the team. Similarly, Doom comes from a different angle, and at the same time that this is happening, he punches in, uppercut, and slams out, right? So the idea is that we get resources out of them, and then the core is like, okay, we can go in, they use shift, right? We're up, right? That's the idea of this comp. The idea of this comp is not, hey, there's Reinhardt, let's just fucking go in on him, because they will win every time, right? They have Kree Hanzo, and watch what happens. I'll even put it in slow motion, right?
Oh well. I guess we need our DPS this year.
Make sense?
Yeah,
I
makes sense.
guess.
Yeah. So the issue here is that we're just not playing this comp the way it's designed to, and like they okay, so they just use bubble, but right, let's go through this. They have flash, they have both cooldowns, they have both cooldowns. I can't go to him for some reason, that's weird. They just use amp on heals, and they have storm arrow, right? They have essentially everything except for amp, right? Meanwhile, half health, half shield. We haven't used bubbles yet, but we have no energy. We haven't even TP'd, we have no ammo. We're about to punch in. We've used ammo, we've used shift, we've used amp. We're down resources, and we're the comp that's supposed to poke out resources, not get poked out, you know? So if I were to backtrack this, I'd say our core plays here. We send Reaper in, we send Doomfist in, synchronized. They poke out, they use their mobility to get out safely. Then the core decides to push in. Around this point in time, when our paths converge, we all push in as 6, right? Hopefully, in this situation, we've gotten out resources, right? As we get better at this comp, the core actually just chills and we wait for the Doom Reaper to get resources out, and then we're like, yeah, we can take a fight off of that. Or we're like, okay, we got bubbles out, we can take a fight off of that, right? You know, stuff like that. You can literally wait in here because they can't push us if we have this refined area, because like there's a mini, it's poor LOS for them. It's like we specialize in this room because of our Doom pick, right? And they have to close the range onto a Reaper, right? You know, like this comp plays slow until all of a sudden it plays really fast, right? If you
Are you
guys,
are you sure that if we play in that mini that actually is smart? I think that's a bad idea.
the only concern is the Hanzo, right?
My concern is that they're running Hanzo Kree. So say that you're running these like double DPS that have a high spam damage from distance. They can set up cross angles so that when we poke out of those doors, we just get fucked.
Right. But
I,
that's
I was
the idea of
I,
Doom Reaper is that you're poking out resources first. You take the engagements because the thing is they have to be in your
yeah.
LOS in order to do this. We do not have to be in LOS to do this, right? We can be hiding. Reaper can TP over here, shoot 3 times, shift out, and come back, right? And then, you know, if you're worried about shield health, right, you can just shield when we're regenning resources, right? Or inversely, like if we try to get resources out, we're hiding here, it doesn't work, we come back, we wait 2 seconds for cooldowns, we all push as 6, right?
I mean, I guess
What
that makes sense.
what you'll see, what you'll see is that we can beat them while their DPS are in rotation. And it actually happens here. Kame actually knows that the DPS, I think it's Hanzo here and Kree here. Kame is playing here as BAP. We take a fight here. If we just pushed through them, we would negate all the sight lines that Coast gave them, right? And we'd play in a smaller area that favors Doom Reaper, right? So basically, we'll watch this out. Did you guys play in Season 20 the double shield meta?
Yes.
I played a little
Sadly,
bit, but I was very low rank in season
It was
20.
a fine meta.
I think Kame is the only one that didn't, right?
it was not a fine meta. It was a shit
It was
meta.
alright. It was
So
way better than the hog meta.
Season 20 was the same thing. I don't remember the supports, but it doesn't really matter. I think it was Bap Zen or
Fire, I
something
think.
like that. It might have been, yeah. But the idea is that like an Orisa would use a pull, we would punch in, we would have Reaper already behind, and then these two combined, if they didn't get a pick here, would just come back out, and you know, both of our shields would just be here, right? And we would just take this engagement constantly, constantly until we had enough of a resource advantage that we wanted to clean up the fight. Same idea. Every time Reaper is meta, it is the same playstyle. Even in Somber Reaper, right? Every single time Reaper is meta, it is this playstyle, and you need to play for poke, right? That's the idea behind it. Now, if I'm being honest, he's not entirely doing that, but that's what the point of VOD review is, right? So, ammo gets forced out, we punch in. We don't really get enough of value. I think the angle that George took wasn't great. It's better for him to punch this direction than this direction, or this direction. But the idea is still there, right? And this gives Chungus a lot of energy, right? 'Cause he's on the shadow bubble, and now he's at 80, right? So we are set up to establish our win conditions. The only issue is that we got poked out so much when we didn't need to, and we're down a lot of resources. But they're not pushing. So we stabilize, we wait for Doom Reaper cooldowns, and then we should be pushing. Now, right now, their DPS are on off angles, and we don't know it yet, but Kame is about to figure it out because he goes from playing here to realizing, hey, I'm taking poke and playing here. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And now Kame's hiding. He has the audio cues that both DPS are right here. This is the time to go, right? We can speed through Immo, right? They're not gonna stick around if we're right in their faces, right? We can burn that thing in a second. This is go time, right? Instead, unfortunately,
The
we wallow
objective is
them,
now active.
because of a charge. So I think this first fight is lost just because of not really understanding the composition that we're playing, and because we went aggro for the wrong reasons. Now I remember Clone said you were going for a counter charge, and obviously
Yeah.
he hadn't charged, but for what it is, like
Well, he did charge. I mistimed it. He pinned the wall, and I thought that he was coming in.
mm,
So I hit shift to attempt to counterpin, and that's
Yeah.
why I went in.
yeah, I mean it's good reaction time, but just kind of through the fight. But for what it's worth, like it doesn't really matter because we played this really poorly. Like we gave them so much time to poke us out here. We didn't react to like it being a 4v6 here. We got resources drained while we were over here. We did stabilize here correctly, which is good. And they played poorly in the sense that when we're stabilizing, they need to be pushing, right? So overall, like you can kind of see why we lost the first fight. Now we're entering the phase, and at this point, don't worry about playing like LOS and shit like this. Just die, right? Just try to get ult charge in the process. Okay, so the next fight goes a little better. The only thing to note is that we end up using Shatter around here. I like the idea of it. It's just the timing was super unlucky. It like literally we use Shatter and then you look in the kill feed and there's 3 of us dead. But like when you press Shatter, there wasn't. So the Shatter's fine to try to turn the fight. It's just kind of unfortunate. But it's also a similar situation where we take poke from here, and then by the time we're taking the fight over here, we're down so much like shield health and some cooldowns that it was kind of already lost. We end up ulting into it.
Yeah. Okay.
So far so good. It would have been nice to see some off angles from Doom Reaper, but it's okay. And they're playing super passive, right? Like they're really relying on their Korean Hanzo to do a lot of the bulk work and not respecting the fact that they can brawl, right? They gave us this space for free, right? We shouldn't have that. All we took is some tank damage. So we're stabilizing here. We see the Ryan trade bubbles, which is fine. George is going in. What I don't like here is the charge. I don't know what you saw here. I'm kind of curious, Clones, as to why this comes out.
Why do I charge here? I don't know. Let's see.
Just because you thought you could hit it?
Oh, yeah, 100%. I thought I could hit it. I saw that Immo was down somewhere else, and I saw our Doom going in. So I was like, all right, Doom is making space. Time to engage.
Yeah. Unfortunately, when both Ryans are over here, we have core, and it's just a shootout, right?
Yeah.
I don't think it's reasonable that we expected them to have Grav. They built that really fast. But now that George has fallen in the hole, like just look at this.
Yeah, it's just a free.
No
It's a
chance.
free fire.
Right.
And then we window it to try and stay alive.
Well, Kame had already windowed as he got graved. He
Oh.
ammoed to try to stay alive. But like, you being anywhere over here could save one person or
Yeah.
specific.
I mean, I also fucked up the charge because I was aiming to pin him on door so that I could back up really quick.
Oh, right here, you mean?
Yeah, here, give me a second. I have somebody calling me.
So, yeah, I think the charge, although it got us a pick, it exposed us a bit too much, and we end up like losing so many resources and Kame for it. And we're just kind of out of the fight at this point. Like this is, you know, it's winnable from a mechanic standpoint. If someone pops off, like it's winnable. But from a team fight standpoint, we don't have any plan. So I like the idea of pushing through the window here, and it's great that they doubled up their support ults, but we just lost one, and we go for the shadow. Right. So at this point in time, technically speaking, it's still winnable, right, from numbers, because it's a 4v6. Like we can ult into this and potentially win it. Even though they've invested B, even though they've invested window, like it's still winnable. It's just unfortunate, and you can watch the timing of it. Like as the shatter goes out, 2 die.
Hammer down!
Right. So shatter animation hasn't even gone off, and we already have 2 dead in the kill feed. And he goes shortly after, right? Now it's lost, right? But it did get 3 ults out of them. We only put in 2. We put in these 2 and got these 3 out. So, you know, going into the next fight with this and even this just for fun is not necessarily bad, and it ends up being why we win. Because this is, I believe, the only 2 fights we lose this match.
When was this scrim?
This was our match against Exitium
Thursday.
Wednesday.
Oh, the Wednesday one?
The Wednesday match. Yeah.
Oh, the
important
match.
discussion.
I thought
Okay,
this was
gotcha.
the Thursday scrim. Okay, never mind.
So this is
Okay.
the first map on that match.
Okay.
Yeah, so they wasted ammo. I don't know why. I'm assuming it was a fat finger, but it does give us free reign to push, right? They invest shatter. We don't keep Gorbo alive. Clones get split. Oh, we do lose this fight. My bad. But you know, shatter. This. We've used nothing, right? So worth. We got 3 ults for nothing. Kind of staggering. That's okay.
Yeah, I remember that.
Waiting for regroup. Main.
Огонь, погоди!
Good ult. Gets bubbles out. We burn bubbles, more importantly. What is kind of confusing? Ammo comes out. We kind of have trouble burning it. Right. But we get it. Positioning wise, like we're at the advantage, but this is our target, right? If he stabilizes, we can have the core just obliterate this guy, and then we have options, right? We can get the low health Zarya, we can get the Lucio that's out of position, we can poke out the Kree, like we have options here, right? But the important thing is that he stabilizes. And he tried to, but he got charged. Beat saves him. And we've just taken all of this space, right? So this is now 1. We have enough kills that we're up. I believe we might even have another. Oh, no, guess not. That's okay though. But yeah, good beat and good follow up on grab. Now we're going into a fight where we have Death Blossom, and we'll probably get window into their grab, right? And
Have some Lucy, oh, oh!
it's still like winnable, but the issue is that we have to play slow because clones died, so by the time we take fight, he's asking for positioning, and we don't have that information available, right? So Clones ends up being here and wants to take the engage here, but he's going in blind because no one does scouting for him. And not only that, but like this positioning doesn't make sense for our comp. Like, in order for us to take a fight here, we have to use extra cooldowns for it to happen. Whereas if we take a fight here, it makes more sense. Or if we take a fight here, it makes even more sense, right? We get lucky in the sense that the enemy team never tries to take this positioning, and that kind of wins us the fight. Because if they just walked over here, they have every reason to win this, right? They can just pose up Kree and Hanzo here and poke us out, right? But the main issue is that we don't do scouting, and I remember from comms that Clones is very confused when he comes back. Literally just walks up, has no idea what's going on. He's like, "Where are they?" And they're all right there. So we're now not an LOS to take this fight, right? Like technically speaking, this is kind of the best we can do. We're down George here. Kami's not in a great position. Chungus is playing really far back with no energy. And yeah,
Who's supposed to scout there? Because I don't know if somebody called for negative tempo, but I was just kind of hiding,
so
waiting for Clones to come back
it
and
can
not take
literally
poke.
be anyone standing here using audio cues, right?
Yeah, sure.
Inversely, you can also be here with bubble and then walk out if you get pressured. Rather, like they start taking you, you start walking back and you bubble around here.
Yeah.
And then, we can also have Reaper do it. We could have Doom like hiding right here-ish if he crouches. Like you don't necessarily have to like poke your head out and look. You can just hear for it, right? Try to determine what's happening. Because Clones walks out and he's like, "Oh, what the fuck?"
Yeah.
He just has no idea what's going on. And we're like, "Oh, they're all right here. I guess we'll take a fight then, right?" No planning went into this, and it's just kind of sloppy.
Yeah.
But
Oh.
Gorbin. Trade shatters. But Emo, nice Emo. Yeah, I honestly think we win this because of the two boobs and
Yeah.
the Reaper.
Sure.
100%. No, this fucking like I remember specifically my Doom on this map was actually ass cheeks. I kept looking for rollouts because I thought they would play like in main, but well they did. It's just it didn't work out at all.
I mean, it was also because my positioning was bad. I was too far back and not able to bubble you.
So I explained it earlier, but if the enemy team is here, right, the idea of this comp is the same as it was in Season 20 with like Orisa Sigma, Doom Reaper, and then what did we say? It was Moira Lucio or something like that for supports. The Doom Reaper
Like
don't play in the brawl sense that we're used to, right? Like the Reaper's job is not to shoot tanks, it's to TP behind, shoot to get resources out, and then wraith to safety, right? Kind of the same for the Doomfist, right? You can you can either uppercut or slam in, or you can punch in, but you use your other set of cooldowns to get out, right? You know what I'm talking about, George?
Yeah.
Yeah. At the same time that the Reaper's TP behind, the Doom is charging up a punch, right? To punch in and then uppercut slams out, right? These two things happen at the same time. We get resources out, and then our core is like, okay, they used bubble, they used shift, like BAP shift. We can push on that, right? Like that's a win condition for us. So I think that's a bit of a disconnect there. But that's how the comp should be played. Anyways, the boop gets us a lot of value. We trade shatters, and Ramen's able to right. Like he like this guy's low, this guy's low. He gets a kill, he dies, but that's worth pretty simple cleanup. So we end up investing 2 ults into that. I think I don't think we use Grav.
No.
And that's all they use, right? They just use the shatter, but that's a good team fight for us, right? What we did is we just stabilized the economy, right? Like they're coming up on some pretty heavy ultimates, right? But we were able to save like we were rationing ultimates correctly, right? We used just these two, we used just these two. Well, we used that with it, but that's kind of getting tossed in based on theirs, right? And then we're just using this off cooldown. So in terms of ult economy, we play that super well, and what we end up doing well here
Team
is
KOO.
poking out when we need to, right? So again, we're down 2, so we're playing kind of slow, but we had better stackers, so we get position confidence.
Oh yeah.
We scout them going right. We get cooldowns out of them. We window on high ground. But we don't do much with it, right? All we got out of that was them to back up.
So I guess I should have caught it, and then we should have sped in with that.
So the point of window is to use in rotation for brawl. While technically speaking, they were in this rotation. The timing of it was when it was right here. You think about it, you're kind of thinking about it like a projectile where you're placing it when they're here so you can get value when they're here. Don't. Wait until they've overcommitted, right? There's this crucial point of time, like the window of opportunity, get it? Where
Yeah.
you can drop it, and they have to make the decision to continue the push or back up, right? Which most
I see.
likely going to happen is they'll do a 3 split, right? And that's
Yeah.
that's like in rotation for brawl. It was just a
Yeah.
bit too
Time was off.
soon.
Yeah.
They were a bit too, how do I phrase this? Slow to react, I guess.
Oh yeah.
It's time.
And I kind of like this from us. Like, so first off, we're playing split because of Grav. Right, like you can see we have Zarya here, Reaper here, we have Bap here, we have 2 here, someone's over there. It would be George. Or sorry, it would be, oh, Gorba's like right here, I think. But oh, okay. Yeah, regardless, we're playing split for Grav. We're hiding from window. This is good. What I don't like is this. Chungus, you're very lost. Like when we're playing split from
Yeah.
Grav, you've no idea where to stand.
Yeah.
Here would be great. Here's okay. But, you know, there's the entire core and they can just kill you, right?
Yeah.
So
I was a little scared.
yeah, I can imagine why. You kind of get lucky here in the sense that they don't really push you that quickly.
Yeah.
It's really on them, but you end up walking into window. So
Yeah.
in this time, like, it's kind of unfortunate because we tried to push this angle, got scouted, and then we're coming back to you dying. So it's like he was just screwed because he wasn't ready for the window. He was going for cover. But like this is unfortunate to look at, but the idea behind it was still correct. Like we're split for Grav,
Огонь по готовности.
and they end up actually over ulting here.
Oh, they're on the
God.
corner.
Right. And tragic. Doesn't get the touch.
Yeah. I remember I said I died too late.
Too early.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
You need to touch at 97 and you died
Oh.
here. You didn't get the touch.
Oh.
You died too early. But
Oh, I thought I was dying too late. Oh, yeah. Okay.
but like for what it's worth, like that fight, even though it was
270.
lost, the ideas behind it were still good. It was just unfortunate that we got the Reaper picked here. Zarya didn't know where to stand. I think this rotation, the idea was good. It was just the wrong people did it, and it needs to be like a timing thing with the people that are over here, right? Kame is kind of fucked if he's over here in that position, and that's why Kame, I don't really like this position for you. I see why you're doing it just because, you know, you can walk off and play wherever you want, but you need to be in range to help our Ryan on an instant, and I don't think you were ready for that. Not
Yeah,
that
I
we
guess
lost that fight.
that is more of like a solo queue position for Bath.
Sure.
Yeah,
Makes sense.
yeah.
Yeah, that's how that went. Even though we lost that fight, I think it was fine. I'm not getting mad
Score.
about that. And no one else should be.
Ready for battle.
So this fight, this map went really well for us. We take the high ground successfully. We're able to poke out, and it goes well.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Yeah. And so we're not entirely sure at this point in time what they're going to be running. After this map, we know that they're just going to hard commit Brawl because Brawl works here, but it's not great, right? It's not ideal. So we're able to get high ground super quick, right? They're still in rotation. Now they have to make the decision. I was talking to Kame about this, right? But if our core is here, or Winston's here, and they have Brawl in here, they have to make a decision on what they want to push, right? They can come up the high ground and try to push clones off. But by then, like, we're here, they're stabilizing here. I'll clean this up. If they're stabilizing here, our Winston's here, our core's here, we can still take this fight and win it. And that's the value that like this high ground gives us. Like it's super good, and this is a clean fight for us. Right. So far so good. Bubble comes out, really nice. Good drop. We're able to poke them out. George, I think like poking out here is fine. The idea is that you get to like, here to poke out, right? But
I'm pretty sure at the time I just didn't want to risk like getting stunned by Kree.
yeah, that's fair. And I mean, like, there's no way you could have gotten here in that time frame either. But yeah, so at this point in time, we're coming up on cooldowns, right? So everyone can see that we're doing okay. They're pretty low. I can't go to Ryan. But we currently have like a cooldown advantage, right? So when we're ready for the next bubble, we push on this and engage. And the Ryan actually charges it kind of easy. So we take the fight. We clear off high ground. They kind of push back while antied. And we're able to like win this. So clones dying there is not great. I think that's just the nature of the fact that Kame had to reload at some point in there. Which needed to be called or listened to, one of the two.
The objective is now active.
But still winnable. Good bubble. Bad blink. At this point, down 3. This is lost. Just get out. Yeah, so again, the idea went well here. When they committed in, we backed up too far, and that allowed them to back up as we took our engagement, right? We kind of have to bait them there. If they're going to push this, we have a window of opportunity to take the team fight up here, or we have to say it's chalked and we just kite them, right? They kind of played with a little more aggression than us, just by nature of the fact that they didn't actually respect cooldowns. They just went in, right? And they won off of mechanics. But we're coming in with cooldowns, with ultimates here. Looks better for us. So they decided to take the fight early. So basically what they did is they omitted their poke phase, and they're just taking a team fight here, which favors us, right? But fortunately, Chungus gets absolutely obliterated. We toss in the nano, which I like. Tragic. But we can actually trade back on this, right? Makes it
Yeah, it's because when I look at the ult meter, I think George was at 50 something, so I just yeeted it.
No,
Yeah,
I remember this. I just could not find opportunities to build EMP here too well.
Oh no, I was just saying well, that's why I used nano, but then it suddenly went up to like 60, 70. It looked bad, but if you were to add like 70, I would have waited.
So like
Mm.
at this point, based on what we have going on, like this is still super winnable because of like ult, right? It's a 4v5, and my comment to clones here was to invest the primal for the instant burst damage. If we get a pick, right, it becomes a 4v4 and we can stabilize off of that. If not, then we have to get out, right? But this is still technically winnable, right? And now it's a 4v4.
They do only have a Lucio.
It doesn't really matter. It's about
I mean,
numbers
it's
and like
4v4.
so we go in on the 4v4. We go for the burst damage. Unfortunately, we don't get the pick. And now we're just kind of feeding all charge. So this is the time to disengage. Yeah, and so Chungus is basically out. Maybe I was mistaken. I think Chungus was walking back because he got picked first. That's right. But regardless, like it was what 3v5, which is still winnable. We got a pick. Then it was 3v4, which is still winnable. We go for one more. Don't get it. That's the time to disengage on that 3v4. Yeah. Successfully disengage. Right. Now we have a win condition here if we can get this out. Right. Yeah. So I like that you're here, George. However, you have too much downtime when you're doing this stuff, right? What I would like to see is recognize, like ask the team, where are we taking a team fight? And put your translocator around that area, right? So if we're setting up for Grav Pulse on high ground, and we know we want to take a fight here, then have your translocator somewhere nearby. Like a good place for it would be somewhere that can easily access the high ground, right? So you can be here, poke them out, and then translocate to safety, right? And if your translocator is here, you're still in range of the team fight, right? Because our core is probably going to come down main. You can still go up high ground and be in for the Grav Pulse, right? Just a lot of downtime.
Apagando las.
So, okay, so the EMP is, I guess it's okay. We don't get
Pretty sure they're calling for it.
Yeah, I
I
mean,
don't
if
know,
that's the
like-
call, that's the call.
I don't recall in the comms like us actually like preparing for Grav Pulse. Like we were all baking on EMP. I
Okay.
think.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. Like, it's still fine to use. It'll definitely get beat out of them, right? So we try to jump in on this, but, like, if we don't have nano for this, this isn't the same style of team fight. Like, if we're just solo EMPing, or, like, only investing EMP, we have to take this fight a lot differently than we would if we were investing EMP and nano into it, right? So, you know, it's a fat EMP, but we can't exactly follow up on it. I mean, just look at our positioning,
Yeah.
right? Like, we have supports here. I don't know where... Yeah. Like, I don't know. It's just tough to follow up on that. But it does a good job of splitting them. So, like, technically winnable.
Огонь по готовности.
That's a pretty good ult. Yeah. That. Yeah. Okay, so what we end up doing is investing way too much.
Hold up
I'm not sure why Ramen just fucking people left there. Like, after this Grav, just and clean up the kills, right? There's no reason for you to be going point here when you
Maybe
just
he was worried about flash. I don't know. Did they have it or
Called
use it?
Ryan.
even if he was, if we're doing grav pulse, you
Огонь!
can trade your life for this, right? Securing kills here is more important.
We
Right,
might have
just-
been calling Ryan on point really aggressively, and he might have reacted to that.
Okay, so a lot of double bubble is about trading backlines, right? Like this is their backline. This is our backline. This is a worthwhile trade, right? Even if the
Yeah.
Ryan's here, like it's still worthwhile to trade this, right? It still
Yeah.
puts us up so much.
It's
Yeah, if he was here, like this immortality dies faster. We get the pick here. We can finish this off. Like, yeah. Clones isn't able to follow up and grab on his own, and he shouldn't be expected to either. And like you can see, like because their Lucio was able to get out, like they have the potential to take a team fight here right now because Ryan has the pocket, right?
Yeah.
If we had stayed up here and cleaned up our kills, like there, this is still technically winnable for them, right? Because they can invest grav into this, right? And see what they can get out of it, right? Maybe window, but probably not. So kind of shaky, but it ends up going in our favor. I personally think clones played that well. I really don't like the grav here because we already used EMP, because it's difficult to follow up on, but it did work, and that's what matters, right? Good cleanup. And we won that, right? So they end up investing a good amount into that. We invested a lot into that, but we have two really good stall win conditions, right? So we can use these two to build up for one of these, and we can always engage with Nano whenever we want. So we have potential. They have Grav Dragon here. They fuck it up, which helps us out a lot. I think they like Grav down this lane, or they Dragon down this lane and Grav high ground or something like that. But yeah, okay. So the call here was to try to go for the environmentals with Primal.
Sorry, Trouble. I have a quick question.
Yeah.
Do you think it would have been smarter, since we were already controlling point, to just wait for them to come down to grav, or to just not grav at all
So
because we already invested EMP?
you're talking about the previous fight?
Yeah, where I grabbed high ground.
I think realistically, the Grav was fine because so EMP is great to initiate a fight because you know for certainty that they have resources, right? Like if you're EMPing mid-fight, they're probably down like arbitrarily half the resources. So EMP gets half the value because you're only removing half the resources, right? So the sooner you EMP, the more value you get out of it. While they're still up here, they are trying to stabilize after getting EMP'd, even though we can't really follow up on it. Like a Winston up here does do like a decent number, right? So they're gonna invest like shift, maybe amp. They might try to burn him down with storm arrows and get him off high ground, right? And they're definitely gonna flash him. So the Grav is good as a mid-fight Grav because they're down resources. The issue is that we only got those resources out because of EMP, right? And our two win conditions are these ultimates, right?
Yeah.
So the Grav is good because we can't follow up on the EMP.
Okay.
Does
That
that make
makes
sense?
sense.
Does that answer your
Yeah.
question? Yeah.
Just in general, try to avoid using 2 win cons in one fight,
Yes. Yes.
unless it's like a panic scenario, I guess.
Basically, the way our comms are structured is that we have clones planning the fights, right?
Mhm.
What ults we're gonna use, what pathing we're gonna take, all of that shit. And
Yep.
Kame's job is to say, okay, it's a 6v6, it's a 5v6, it's a 5v5. You know, when we get to
Okay.
like the 3v3, we're at a point where it's like it's still winnable, right? That's like somewhere around this window is when we're looking to invest more ults into it, right? So
Okay.
it's fine to invest to win conditions if it hasn't been secured as like one, right? If we're in the winnable stage, we can invest ultimates. If it's one, then then it's bad to invest ultimates.
Okay.
So
That's fair.
in that case, like the grav is fine, but not ideal,
Yeah.
basically. What I don't like is we're kind of giving them high ground for free, right? Like we're taking this opportunity to poke them out, but we could also just play here as a core, right? If we have the core here, when they're speed boosting here, they're only going to make it to here by the time we've retaken high ground, and we can essentially poke out resources after their speed has expired, right? So let's say our core of Zarya, Brig, Ana is here. Winston's fine here. Sombra would be over here. And Tracer would be with the Winston, right? When they are speeding to take high ground, we can poke them out from 3 angles, right? If they decide to try to take the fight with Winston Tracer, they have an easy escape, grav permitting, right? And this long hallway is too much time for amp speed. Our core can easily disengage from that, right? And then what we're looking at is a new opportunity where the enemy core is here, or Winston Tracer have poked out here. Sombra's kind of converged with them, poking up from behind, and we have multiple off angles. But they already took all the resources to get there to be in this situation, and we have off angles on them. So what I like to see is, especially on Oasis Gardens, is not giving up hookah for free. We tend to like force them to take high ground, and then we just ult in, right? We don't we can engage with ultimates, and that's good tempo, but we can also engage with this is still positive tempo, right? If we're getting resources out of them and then playing negative tempo and then once more positive tempo with our ult phase, right? We can utilize a poke phase and still not give away our win conditions, right? But we have a tendency to just specifically on Oasis Gardens, we give up high ground.
I think we might have been trying to avoid the grab dragon by playing really split.
Yeah, it's possible, but even if the core is playing over here, they can't just grav down main without us getting out of it, you know? And even if the core is playing up here, we still can take tempo and take a fight here. Now, the reason why this isn't happening is because we're calling for this situation, which does happen, right? And that's fine. If that's the team fight we want to take, I'm glad everyone took this team fight. Like, I'm happy to see that people are following team fights. I just don't particularly like this because this negates any sort of poke phase we could have had in this rotation, right? The way
Well,
you beat Brawl is to catch them in rotation, right? You were gonna say something, Kame?
yeah, I really didn't like playing on high ground because if their Hanzo or Kree decides to off angle main, they have like 3 angles on me if I'm on high ground, and it
So
would be really awkward for me to.
one of the things that you, George, and Ramen need to work on is how to peak high ground, right? And it's kind of an advanced topic, but like once you understand it, it makes sense, right? If Hanzo's standing here and you're standing here, your hitbox is shown above like this opportunity, right? Like you have like this much of a hitbox shown, right? If you're standing right here, that's his LOS on you. However, if you're standing further back, only this much of your hitbox is being shown. If he's in
Yeah,
the
I
same
understand
position.
that. But the
So
thing is, if I stand back, I wouldn't have a good LOS on our tank, or I wouldn't have a good LOS on the enemy
that's
team.
the nature of like jiggle peeking, right? Like walking in and out. W and
Yeah,
S.
but where I'm playing right now, it's safe, and I have a good LOS. I don't have to risk being
So
headshotted.
where you're playing right now is good if we're taking a team fight here, right? But if we want to poke them out here and then take another team fight in here, it's not good, right? The idea of what I'm saying of poking out here is that they never make it here, right? Our team fight, our kill box becomes in here.
Oh, you're saying we stay on the stairs instead of in the middle?
What I'm saying is your initial
Forgive
position.
me, friends. I have to take a 30-second piss break.
Yeah, your initial position is here, and this is temporary, right? As they're coming in, you rotate to over here, or just like right here, depending on what they have. If they have the Grav Dragon, I would play back, right? But you can still support the team from like up here, right? Without worrying, because you can just corner peek, right? And besides, if a Winston, a Tracer, and a Sombra are right here, pushing into them all right here, they're gonna go on that if you delay your appearance, right? Because you have to remember, if like in a brawl v brawl, it's just 6 into 6, right? But if we're playing any variation of dive and we're a hybrid of dive brawl, right? It's about synchronizing our appearance,
Good
right?
time. Yeah,
So
yeah.
the
For sure.
mobile core of Winston, Tracer, Sombra peaks, and then our vulnerable core peaks, and like we converge on a kill box here, right? But we've already drained the resources
Okay.
here, so it's much more advantageous, right? Playing here is fine. It's super conservative, but it's fine if we're wanting to take a team fight here. What I'm saying is there's no reason we should give them this space to begin with, right? When we
Yeah,
could drain them of
so
resources
we
here and then again on stairs.
yeah, so I guess the only advantage of the position that you talk about is if we took a fight right below the stairs. But
Yeah.
if they were in the hallway, if we took a fight when they come into the hallway, I think that's still the low ground position is still better
So
because I don't have to
this
if they off
arrow
angle.
is not a fight. We're not committing any ultimate abilities to this. In this arrow, no ultimates are used. When they hit this box, we can ult. Does that make sense?
Because it's a smaller space.
This is our win condition, right? Okay, so in this fight, we are planning on primaling on high ground as our win condition, right? We're looking to get boops off of here and win based on that, right? What I'm saying instead is we take a fight here, invest like primal and pulse into this confined area.
Okay, okay, I see. Okay.
Okay, cool.
It's just because win condition. That's why I picked that kill box. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
So back to this. I'm happy everyone followed the plan. I personally don't think it was the best plan, just because we're giving them high ground for free, and I don't think that's ideal. It does do a good job of splitting them, and our DPS are in pretty good positions. I think George can be a little more aggressive, play a little closer. As for like this, we're getting no value out of break here. Anna's getting LOS, and Chungus doesn't really know what to do here.
Огонь по готовности!
So good job burning the immo. Is a terrible immo by them.
That was dog shit.
We end up trading in this, and that's how this goes well for us, right? So like basically the reason why Immo comes out is because we're able to.
Огонь по готовности!
So we've already pressured the Baps like, oh shit, they're primaling in a corner. Let's fucking do something about it. And as they're running in, we're able to get trades, right? So it's good. Nice block, kind of.
Oh shit, did George still get shattered? I didn't even notice.
So did Gorba.
All the way behind the fucking pillar,
Do
dude.
you not have translocator set up? What? Am I stupid? What the fuck?
You get caught out not having translocator a lot.
Well, here's that 3v3.
Yeah.
وريهم I am strong!
Sag. But this is still
It's a good
winnable.
sleep.
That's a good kill. This is a good opportunity for a kill, and then it's just cleanup, right? We went off of the nano and sleep here, in my opinion.
The more and more I VOD review this, the more and more it looks like League of Legends. So weird.
Overwatch is a MOBA game that's played as an FPS.
Exactly.
So, yeah. Clone's coming back, secures this, so nice. Now, again, ult check. Doing pretty well.
I think I want to grab in hookah here or something.
Огонь
Like
по
all.
готовности!
They end up pushing in.
What's actually funny about this interaction, this is totally a tangent, right? But we grab and they don't know what our follow-up is going to be. So watch their Rhine and watch what he does.
Огонь по
He hears the tracer. He's like, oh shit, they're going for pulse. And then he's like, wait, no, they used pulse. But a Winston's coming in. Where did the Winston go? Oh fuck, oh fuck, oh fuck. He has no idea what's going on. So,
Why didn't I nade that? What? What
Right.
did I use my nade?
probably because you were right here.
Yeah, never mind.
Overtime.
That do be chilling though.
Apagando las luces.
Good job investing. Okay, funny enough, we didn't know the BAP was up here. Like, that's a really shitty position for a BAP to be, so, like, it's
See
fine.
nothing.
That do be chilling though.
But, like, we should also kind of know that a BAP's just like, it's one thing if a BAP's pocketing from the high ground, but, like, he was trying to pocket, so, like, I don't know. I'm not that mad about it, but, like, literally no one knew he was there until he ulted.
Trust me, okay? BAP does more damage than Soldier.
Yeah, it was a good grab, good tempo and all that shit, right? So, okay. Here is another situation that we came across where, and I talked to Clones about this, while we should be playing one of these two high grounds. Now, it is ideal for us to get here. Brawl tends to take this and try to force an engagement point. Like, what Brawl wants to do here is when this hits 0 or close to 0, they will push in, take this space, and force us to come to them. Because they can easily poke out whoever drops onto point, and we cannot easily take this engagement, right? So we need to be a little more clever than this, right? What ends up going well for us is that they don't follow the script, right? What they should be doing is keeping their core of 6 here and waiting for us to engage, because they can easily poke out whoever is on point. What they decide to do is they start to poke him out, and then they push here and they all get naded, right? You can watch. It takes fucking forever, but you can watch. Right, this is good for us. I like Raman's position. I like George's position. George gets... George dies here. But...
We don't talk about that.
The objective is now
So, like,
active.
now they're deciding to push, but they don't need to, right? Like, they can literally just stay here and poke him out. He will get off point, and then we have no one on point. They cap, or them capping forces someone from this core to drop down, probably the Zarya, right? And then they just pick us off one at a time, right? Instead, they decide to walk through this fucking choke, and lo and behold, I wonder how this is gonna go, right? So
No, I overcommitted here. This was just stupid. But
I-
also, look at if you can contest from nipple,
you okay? So
ramen should be
you can't contest
yeah.
point from nipple, but you can
Yeah.
contest them from nipple, right? Like you can be here and poke them out in rotation, and you can just as easily drop onto point and then jump out if you need to, right?
Right. I guess my goal of playing down there was to force them to try and commit on me because we had nade, we had bubble, like I can just jump up and get out while they're like committing all these resources to try and kill me.
If we have high ground control, right? I'll just say this and for the sake of argument, George is alive. When when point unlocks at 0, they have to push out and touch. Otherwise, we can just, or once it can drop off, cap, and then jump back, right? They have to push out, they have to start this fight. But all they should be doing is playing out of our cores LOS, right? As 6 right here. Or more realistically, they just put Ryan here and then have the core back here, right? With you playing here, it gives them the opportunity to poke you out and get you out of the fight so that they can push. And right, that's what they do. They get the Sombra pick, they poke you out, you have to play conservative, we drain resources. Like, this is a condition for them. They were just dumb and decided to walk through a window instead of wrapping around, right? If they wrapped around, they don't take the poke damage from us. So, they played this really poorly. And you can watch, because half their team gets naded, right? And that's a good nade on Connor. They force ammo. Clones dies. Ramen.
I feel like if we're against Brawl, can't we just play Zen? I feel like Zen would be so much better here.
No, because
We could do something different. So what you could do is you could run Winston Diva, Sombra Echo or Sombra Pharah, and then Ana Mercy, and you just play like a spam dive variant if they're gonna play like a brawl, and they just kind of get poked out if you're playing that proper. But if you want to run Zen, we would you would have to do like a Zen Brig or a Zen Mercy, and then we would need Flyers, and the only person on our team that plays Flyers incredibly well is Aaron. I don't think any of our DPS players have a super competent Echo.
we don't have an Echo.
Yeah.
Aaron
I think Ramen
plays
plays
it.
there a
George
bit.
can play Pharah though. But
George can play Pharah.
the issue is that we don't know what they're gonna run into this, right?
Oh yeah, that's
They
true.
played Brawl for the first map, for the second map. It's logical that they play for the third one too, right? But we can't say with certainty that it's the right call, right?
Mm-hmm.
Good point.
Winston Diva is fine, but if we're gonna do that, why not just play Ball Diva and play for an even better call? If we're gonna do that, then why bother with the Pharah? Why not just keep the Sombra Tracer? And if we're gonna do that, if we want to play Zen, then you just go back to Brig, right?
I think Ball Diva is only good if they don't have heavy stun. Like,
well, the thing about Ball is that you don't hard commit, right?
No, I just roll through and I go for boops. But if the McCree
No,
even hits
not
one
even.
flashbang on me,
Not
then
even.
I'm out.
Not even.
Or
The
I boop in
idea-
rotation.
The idea is Ball is that you can engage with the security that you can get out. The difference between Ball and Winston is that if you want to take a fight in here, with Winston, you have to commit jump for this, right?
Yeah.
With Ball, you have so much mobility that you don't have to commit into this to take the fight, right? You can be hiding in places that you wouldn't be able to hide as Winston. Or you can engage from fucking over in Narnia, right? You can literally make this rotation and slam him. The idea is that you have more options to disengage after, where you don't as Winston. But
Mhm.
the thing is that as Ball, you're not the one to initiate the fight. Sombra Tracer are.
We wouldn't really run Sombra Tracer. That's not high enough damage. You either run like Tracer Echo or you run Sombra
If you
Echo.
want to run the Diva, you would run Sombra Tracer because you don't have
I don't agree with that.
you don't have a win condition.
I don't agree with that.
If you want to run Winston Diva with like Pharah Echo, there
I
Like,
think
you're
you
just-
run Pharah Tracer or you run Echo Tracer.
it's the same idea though, right? You're poking out and then taking a team fight when they're low, right? That's the idea behind it, right?
Yeah, I just feel like Sombra Tracer can't poke
The
enough.
difference is that for Pharah, Tracer, Winston, Diva, you're hard committing to every single team fight, right? If you
Yeah.
think it's winnable, you're hard committing. If you're playing for Sombra, Tracer, Ball Diva, you can still commit and do the same thing you would in this comp, but you have the option of leaving. Basically your soft dive in this comp does the exact same thing as your hard dive in this comp, but
Mhm.
you can also get out with your life. So all of that being said, if you wanted to run Zen here, it's just a different composition, right? Like it's just you would play this differently. You wouldn't be able to run the Zarya. The way you would approach everything would be different, right? So to answer Kame's question, even though he left, is that yes, we could, but we would have to create new comps around like what we could do with that information, right? So I think it's best to just stick to this. And like again, it comes back to we can't, even though it's the third map on this map, we can't say with 100% certainty that they're gonna run Brawl, right?
Mhm.
So we had all the advantages there and we lost that because we kind of didn't exploit their comp correctly. We didn't play to the advantage of our comp, we didn't exploit it. One thing I like is this attempt at disengage was correct. It's just we should have just jumped off. Like because of the nature of them having Lucio, it wasn't realistic, excuse me, for us to get out with their life. Yeah. Now we'll take a new team fight. Again, George, you have a lot of downtime. If you're scouting for us, you should also be shooting. Those two should be going at the same time. Like you can be looking for where they're posed while you're holding mouse 1. You just have to recall out, right? So what we can do is we can say, as you're running in from spawn, you can toss translocator down anywhere in safety, right? Like here's a totally fine spot. And then you can push up this angle, see them all over here. Well, maybe you don't see everyone, but you come over here, then you see all 6 and you start shooting, saying they're playing elevator. You stay for like a clip or until you get low, you translocate out, right? Now you can invis, maybe toss translocator here, right? And we can say, all right, we're going to take a fight in high ground in 3, 2, 1, and then we all converge on that. Like Winston jumps in, Tracer and you take the elevator, right? Stuff happens. So there's a lot of downtime you have, and like you're the lowest in the lobby, ult charge wise. You should be the fastest. Maybe Nano's faster. But I like the idea of this. It's very disheveled looking, but the idea of this is good. Right, and
Mhm.
this is all coming from the scouting information that we had.
Yep, Georgia had good scouting here.
Right, so they decide to forego the high ground for some reason, which again gives us an advantage. right? We now have angles. We will have this angle, we'll have this angle, and we have this angle, right? And they're all going to try to converge on this, but they're only going to take 2 angles, right? So we have the advantage currently. It's a good kill. Now we have, right, both DPS and the 2v2. We have the resource advantage for the core. Nice anti. And sleep. Tragic. But we're up 2.
Up 3.
Yeah, I
Can
don't
we
know if
don't?
any-
We
I don't know
don't
if
see the
anyone-
fucking map.
Yeah, I don't know if anyone called this, but we went on the. As long as we're going on the same targets, like it's fine. So this is fine. Calling the anti next is fine, but someone wasn't following calls or comment. And then obviously he does not. So that was good. We played this well. Basically, we were able to force them to make a mistake, and the mistake they made was 1, dropping too early, and trying to take the fight over here. They basically LOS themselves, right? Which worked well for us. But not to shy away from anything that we did, because like we adapted to this scenario and played well around that, right? We totally enveloped them, right? We had Core here, Winston here, what was it, Sombra here.
Yeah, Tracer there, Sombra there.
Yeah, I said that backwards. But like this is like fully surrounding this side of the map, right? It forces them into this location where we can all converge and get kills, right? So that was good. I like that. Clean. And I don't even think we used ultimates and they invested shatter.
Nope, not a single one.
So now we're scouting with Tracer instead of Sombra. And we are down our Zarya
I think we go down Tracer here.
because he's
I think he wanted to pulse, yeah.
Yeah, T got picked. We called that he could pulse first.
Yeah.
it's not a bad play. Like what I would have liked to see differently is calling where we're taking a fight, right? So we have options, right? We can take a fight here. We can take a fight here. We can even take a fight here. One of these locations needs to be called. We say team fight for, eye in
Like
the
team
sky
fight
purpose.
outside of nipple.
Something like that, right? Like for my sake, I'll say like if we're gonna take a team fight at 1, what are we investing in? Well, maybe we play closer, right? Maybe we play core on point, Winston here. I don't know, either Sombra or Tracer here and the other one in here, right? And then we can all converge Nano into this, right? Nano Monkey in, walk in. We'll get EMP shortly, and then we can EMP to follow up, secure kills. That's our team fight, right? Inversely, if we wanted to do something else,
I feel like
if we
the
wanted
best
to
idea.
fight here, like we could get the pick while they're in rotation with pulse and then take a fight here. But none of this position shows that we're ready for any of this over here, right?
Right, I don't think you take 1 or 2 when you're playing against Brawl. I think you only take 3. Because you can take the fight at 1, but
So
you're
I
you're
see
giving
why
up.
you're saying it, but the reason to take a fight at 1 is just to catch them off guard, right?
Right, yeah, and you can catch them off guard, but we're gonna have to invest ults into that.
Yes. So if you're gonna invest EMP, this is a good place to invest EMP.
Right, but only if we have to. Like, I think.
It's one of those things where if you're always taking a team fight here, they will adapt to that and change up
Mhm.
their tactics.
Okay, I get what
They'll
you're
start
saying.
they'll start playing with a 3-3 split, right? If this is all we're doing, like if this is our kill box, then we'll just kill 3, and then they'll just grab dragon us here, right?
Yeah.
So like
Okay.
the appeal of taking a fight here is simply put that we're not consistently taking a team fight here, right?
Mhm.
But the idea of getting a pick here is fine if we're going to converge either here or here. And that just needs to be called out. It needs to be called out, where are we taking our team fight and why are we doing that? Or not even why, but just a location call. One of those 3 places, right? Or I guess they could go over here, but so we invest pulse for nothing. Yeah. So George, you need to stop throwing translocator for every single EMP.
Apagando las luces. I'm on fire.
This is actually one of the few times you don't die for doing this. I
It's
think
true.
90% of the time when you EMP, you die because you use translocator, right? It's off cooldown, just fucking eat it, right? You can create a new one, right? Just yeet it, get it out there, keep yourself alive. Yeah, you have a tendency of dying when you EMP. But it was a good EMP, like this is nice. The primal is a little unnecessary though.
I don't know why I primaled.
I don't either. We already invested Pulse, we invested EMP, we invested Nano, and now we've invested Primal.
Did I invest primal first?
And they used nothing.
Yeah, you might have primal before nano.
I think I primaled before nano because I wanted to try and just like poke them out. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe. Let's see. That or I got low and I panicked.
Apagando las luces.
Nope. Nope. I fucking went for it.
It worked though. Fucking got him. We got him 4
Yeah.
ults to 0 though.
Well, what? Because there's only 2 people in that. What? There's only me in there right now. So I guess. Yeah. My primal was probably just because I thought I was the only one that could follow up on my
But
stuff.
again, it's because we didn't establish where we're gonna take a team fight, right?
Yeah.
We ulted here and took a team fight here, right?
Mhm.
We didn't establish where we were going to take this team fight, right? Because like initially Tracer's here, kites back to here, goes for the pulse, disengages here, comes here, tries to take a fight here, and then like goes in here, right? At no point in this pathing would I expect that we were going to end up here, right? Like this is where the team fight is, right? But like look at all this pathing and try to tell me where the team fight's going to be, you know? So if we know the location of where the team fight's going to be, we can position our DPS so that you don't get forced out, right? And ultimately, calling these locations is on you, where you want to take these fights. But it was a good fight. Just unfortunately that we overinvested. Right, so same thing. Now we're coming up on Grav. Grav is our win condition here. And I talked to Gorba about this. I think, so like in this exact situation, I think because they're running these two, we can combo these two for a fight. If we, like, we have to establish where we're going to take this fight, right? But once we do, we can probably use these 2 ults as our win condition. Like, use our rally into Grav. I feel like that would work, but I don't know. That's something we would need to play test. And it revolves around them not having an anti to negate rally, right? But we kind of wallow around. Like, looking at this, we're waiting for ultimates. Like, are we going to get Pulse first? Are we going to get EMP first? Like, what's the deal here, right? But neither of them are close enough to really get either.
Oh yeah,
So
we
we
win this match off of a
basically-
miracle.
we basically are like, okay, so I remember this. Like we had the core up here and we were like, okay, we'll grab when we get one of these two, right? We'll do something around that. And what ends up happening is we just straight up take a dry fight and they invest so many ultimates into this. Like we invested 4 last time. I think they invest like 3 or 4 this time, right? Like it wasn't the call that we made, but it ended up working out. If we're gonna take a dry fight, take a dry fight. I'd rather we ult into this though than wait for them. Good nade.
It's time.
Good sleep. They went.
Oh, we can't converge on him.
Clones feeds.
Dude, I didn't know where the window was. I'm just like,
Wait, where did this happen?
you can even look at it from my perspective. Like,
I did.
oh yeah, you were
During the
watching.
match.
Yeah, because somebody is like, "Can we go on Kree? Can we go on Kree?" And I'm just like, I don't know. So I
Wait.
look out, and then all of a sudden there's just a fucking window, and I'm just like,
Wait, let's do
shit.
replays presented by Cheez-Its to see that again.
I just fucking die. There's nothing I can do
Die.
except die.
Wait, how did any of this happen? I'm just confused.
Windowed.
Yeah, they windowed and they rotated around their Kree, and then
Yeah,
they could
yeah,
just
yeah.
spam us off on the high ground.
Like, so at the end of the day, like, it's really funny because like we let them through here. Of course, we let them through here, and like we could have done something here, but we just let them go here, and then they invest 2 ultimates in, but we used nothing. And like it's 99, so like it was the correct play, but not for the right reasons, right? Because we're coming into like a 56-99 with fucking stacked ultimates, and like they're doing okay, but like Grav Dragon's their combo, right? And like I don't know, like
I thought we
watch-
called not to use ults.
No. The call
We
here
didn't.
The call here was we're gonna use Grav when we get one of these 2. And like I guess in a panic it made sense, but we had these 2. Like these 2 work well together because they don't have an anti-nade. Like we can just fucking into a Grav with rally up. Like no one here is gonna die if we have rally up, unless they have a nade, right?
Yeah.
So what ends up happening is we burn 2 ultimates for nothing, and we just fucking stack a bank for a recap, and it goes well. It wasn't the plan. It worked. It was basically, I'm summarizing this as this is a good example of when a dry fight works, but this wasn't the time to take a dry fight. It's just kind of funny. So yeah, that's that fight. Kind of weird. Oh, and
I don't like it here.
No, I just didn't know where to go here. And then all of a sudden,
Window.
ta-da! Oh,
Scary.
shit.
That's very scary.
Dude, I
Before you can turn around.
Dude, I peeked without bubble because I thought, oh yeah, I'm totally gonna be fine here. Nope. I'm dead. I'm fucking dead.
I had first-person camera during the match when that was happening. I was like, no, fuck. That was sad. So another mistake that they make is they put the Rhine here for some reason, which like tells us that they want to take a fight. Okay, so like we scouted this, but I don't know if we knew why they were doing this in the moment. They're setting up for Grav Dragon in one of these 2 spots, and the Rhine is positioned here so that he's readily available to go to this.
No, that was just so stupid. The Rhine was the bait. I think
Somehow,
that's what
like,
he was calling.
we just get by and they don't they just don't do anything about it. I think it's because like their
This
Zarya
was
wasn't
like
really.
this was literally won by luck.
It's like the Zarya is over here, and they're setting up for Grav Dragon on one of these doorways, right? Like we just walked in. It's not like luck. It's just like it was just dumb from them. I guess that's lucky for us.
It was lucky that they were dumb.
Yeah, I guess. Like we had all the scouting in the world, right? And like now they're like, oh yeah, no, definitely we're gonna grab one of these corners. But then we're like, and right, like this is weird. Oh, also, you guys will love this.
Wait.
Do I have your attention?
It's a good pulse, right? They use ammo, they use speed.
Oh no.
But I don't know what went wrong there. Just weird fight, I guess. Very weird fight. And so we end up trading like these ultimates for 2 picks on their part, right? So like this is still winnable. We can rally in, take this fight. Now we're down. It's like, oh yeah, okay, maybe we don't fight. I like the rally. I think it was still winnable. It was just unfortunate that Clones was over here and our entire team was split by a Grav. Probably should have been
How
Clones.
did we win this?
I don't.
Well,
I think clones.
That still
touches.
perplexes. That still perplexes
Oh wait, I
me.
touch.
Like after
Yes, you
that
touch.
still perplexes me today. How the hell did we win this?
I think
Because
me,
Chungus
Tracer.
touched.
It's me, Tracer, or I remember
Did
touching, but I think
wait,
they
did
might have
clones
touched.
actually respawn back in time? Like I don't know.
yeah, he did.
I switched to ball,
We had 3 touches in this.
and I went Dicko mode.
Oh yeah, I bait them onto point.
Yeah, you're there too, so I wasn't.
Down!
I get shattered. I get shatter out of them. That's right.
Spread the cheeks, they let the booty
Basically,
hole.
we played
It was
for
just
10
the
out of 10.
luckiest timing possible.
Well, so here we go. So we nano the monkey. Okay, we fucking hit the EMP of the century. Where is it? Where's the EMP of the century?
It's coming, it's coming.
Apagando las luces.
Oh,
Okay.
it's all of them.
Well, it was 5. You didn't get Kree.
Yeah, it was 5. So
Why
I killed.
did I not get Kree?
Wait, Kree's hacked. He has
Wait,
the
yeah,
things
what the
going
fuck?
on.
No,
He has
go
the
back,
swir-
go back, go
He
back.
has the swirl on him. He's
Yeah, the
Wait,
Kree got
did he just
EMP'd,
die?
but he also got slept at the same
yeah.
time.
He was just fucked.
There it is.
He was
there it
so
is.
fucked.
George the 6-man. And so I killed the BAP, and then I go in and I fucking primal the Zarya, and then now I'm on the Hanzo.
Back to planet, bitch.
Like, so the way this worked is that they over-ulted here. They invested beat, Grav, Dragon,
Dragon.
and then they
And they used
The whole
Shatter
thing was
and
why it
somewhere
was
on
just
the
kind of
line.
one-sided because that destroyed their mental. The fact that we won that.
Their problem was they beat and they lamped when their lamp saved them from the.
it doesn't matter
Ming.
because they already won this fight, right? They
Yeah.
had it up by the time they were in the next fight. But then after this fight, they have their core here, and Sombra goes to touch, and the entire core disengages and lets us walk in for free, right? So then all of a sudden we have positioning here. Their Kree is like, yeah, I'm just gonna high noon this into this.
That could not
He's
have went
looking at
like more
6 people,
smoothly.
where he's looking at like 4 people get slept as bubble expired, which is kind of unlucky for him. Really sick by Kame though. And then we
Thank you.
EMP 6, Nano, Primal, and we win.
Down for the count.
It's huge.
I could not have gone better. Dude, fucking Chung. Me and Chungus went on to point. I TP out. Chungus is still on point, baiting him all onto point just for, like, all in position to get AMP'd.
It's the biggest
Literally
accident. It's
calculated.
really good.
Yeah. I mean, like, the thing is that this map was good for us because, like, we know how this match ended versus them, which was basically them throwing, right? But the difference is that they play mechanically, we play for team fights, right? Like, And the fights that went well for us is because of good ult economy. They always had bad ult economy. Not only that, but they didn't. I don't really think they know the concept of team fights or team locations, like where
No,
to
no,
take
they
team
do
fights.
not.
And so like we just like I don't know if they're better mechanical players than us. It doesn't really matter. We won this because we were taking team fights. They were not, right? They were just fucking yeeting ultimates when they got them.
Playing
So
comp.
yeah, basically. So at the end of the day, like we win this and they start to tilt and that goes well for us. So um yeah, this was the most like Oasis was the best map for us out of this match set just because they started playing worse and worse and worse as we went on. So this was like pretty fair going into it. And like all that being said, there's still a lot of mistakes that we make, right? Like
Yeah.
George doesn't know how to have a poke phase. Clones doesn't know how
Dude,
to
it is a
position us for a
lot
team fight.
easier said than done to try and poke fucking into Brawl for EMP. I'm just saying
That
right
shit's
now.
scary.
It's
Like with
it's
fucking
scary,
dude,
but the
I
thing
don't think
is
you know
that
how oppressive McCree really is. McCree is
oh
actually
I
a
do.
win button.
Oh, I do. But the thing is that you don't know what to do because you don't know where we're taking a team fight. And that's
Yeah.
on clones, right? Like you can't set up for a team fight or for poke phase or for anything if we don't know what we're doing, right?
But Clones doesn't know where to team fight if there isn't scouting.
Exactly. Well, not really. So the first translocator position is always going to be super conservative, just basically by the team, right? Okay, so I I was going to do Numbani. What is this? Yeah, this is the right one. I was gonna do Numbani, but we ran out of time. Why can't I?
Wasn't Volskaya decent? I remember that one being okay. I can't remember though
The fuck?
completely.
Dude, attack Gibraltar.
Oh,
Dude, attack Gibraltar.
Attack Gibraltar was a fucking shit show.
I see. Um,
That's when
so
I
what?
danced on the
Like,
diva. It was toxic.
I'll show what I'm talking about, and it's easier to show on defense. So
Just dancing.
for George, put your translocator here, right? Then this is fine. You start poking out here. After one clip, you TP back. You start walking this way. You yeet your translocator to here. And then you determine you probably want to take a team fight here, right? So then you would walk around until you're around this area, and then you can start spraying from over here as we're over here, right? So we have the off angle, right? Basically, what you've done is you've given yourself an extra translocator. You translocated there, you translocated over there, because if this team fight doesn't go well, you're not out of the fight, right? You're just over here. That's still super fucking close. Whereas you put your translocator over here on the mini, right? But you don't need to. One, that's negating ult charge for our supports, whereas this is still pretty conservative. It gives the opportunity for our supports to get ult charge, but it's also pretty safe, right? Because you have the mini here, you have your entire team here. Like it gives you less, it gives you more uptime, less downtime. Whereas like if we watch you play this at the start, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7,
Been here
8,
all along.
Yeah.
10, 11, 12,
Be right back.
13, 14, 15, 16,
¿Qué
17,
tal?
18, 19, 20. Now we're in a team fight, right? Took us me counting to 20. And like it's just a lot of downtime, right? Like
Mhm.
and for all of that, you're at 41. Right? If you had translocator here, you would have a poke phase there. You could also disengage. You can come back and take a poke phase here. You'd have EMP by now, right? Maybe in like 10 seconds you'd have EMP because you would get 2 phases out of them. So yeah, I'm not gonna go over Numbani just because it's getting late and I don't want to. So yeah, basically what I'm saying, Oasis and all of Wednesday's match was the enemy team playing really poorly and us exploiting that in certain ways. Like and what I'm trying to say is there's good ways we exploited it and there's ways that we didn't. And I'm trying to say like, yeah, this was good. This is what we could have done, stuff like that. But like overall, we're still playing really well. Don't get me wrong. It's just easy for me to sit back, haven't played the game in 2 weeks, and poke and prod at you guys for playing poorly, right? So, yeah. Overall, nice job. Keep it up. Thanks for those that came to the VOD review. And yeah, that's all I got.
That's
Any
it.
questions? Yes, sir.
Fine.
Any questions?
No.
Nope.
I think clock.
No.
Basically, yeah. Yeah, I think going into scrims tomorrow, what I really want to focus is location calls for team fights. We're learning how to ult track. Well, we know how to ult track, right? We're learning how to incorporate ult tracking. We're learning how to incorporate planning our ultimates. We just need to know where we want to take fights. And honestly, clones, just say corner. If you say ult on corner, people will just figure it out. It's the simplest thing. As we get better and better, we can start coming up with names like corner by nipple on Oasis, right? Like we can take a fight by cars, you know, like we can get more creative, but let's just start trying to do location calls because that allows George, Aaron, and Ramen to set up in locations. It allows our core to set up in locations, right? Like then we don't have to take fights where we're having to invest Primo because we're scared. No one else is next to us. So
Mm-hmm.
that's all I got. And honestly, that can come from anyone, right? Like if Ramen wants to go for a pulse at the start, like okay, cool. But we all need to be ready to converge with him and like help him on that, you know. Yeah, cool. So if no one has questions, I'm gonna call it for tonight, and I will see you all tomorrow for scrims, right?
Yep. And Wednesday is completely off, right?
We are completely off on Wednesday. We have a free Wednesday. I'm using it to hang out with friends. I hope you all do
God.
something similar and don't even think about Overwatch at all.
Yes, sir.
Please.
I'll
Please,
probably
sweet
stream.
God.
For everyone else, are people liking the document that I'm making with comments from like the matches? I've only gotten feedback from Gorba and Kame so far.
I think
Yeah.
I'm looking at it.
Is
I keep forgetting to do the attendance thing.
Okay.
But
yeah, I forgot to do it too, I think.
If you're reading it, that's better. It just like coming into this, I don't know who's read it if you haven't filled out that forum.
Wait, did we have a new one?
Yeah,
Yes.
we went over it already. I'm basically off-rolling right now. Like,
Yeah.
Lucio's the only main support I've ever played.
Yeah.
Never played Brig, never played Percy, never played any of these heroes. I've only been like an Ana Zen player forever. So
But I wanted to make sure people are utilizing that because it honestly takes me. If like you guys think we scrim a lot, right? Recognize that I have to watch that 6 times, maybe even 7 per person. So
Mm-hmm.
it takes a lot of time. I just want to make sure people are getting stuff out of it. So cool.
Yo. Contenders is on right now, and American Tornado is running the Bastion.
Pog.
Best on.
Cool. All right, I will catch you guys later. Have a good night.